We're here at the 92nd Street Y for the Teen Press Conference for the National Book Awards. And I have Laura Ruby with us. Well, tell us about the book.
Well, it is about a 17-year-old boy named Finn who witnesses the kidnapping of his brother's girlfriend. But nobody believes his story. Nobody believes that he saw what he saw. And it is told in Finn's point of view, so you see him searching for this missing young woman, and also from the point of view of the missing young woman herself. So you find out where she is, who took her, and what exactly happened to her. And it's a story about love, and it's about loss, and it's about bees. Lots of bees.
Yes, you learn a lot about bees. Yes, and another book for another finalist, we learn about jellyfish. Yeah, so both, that was very interesting. So for the young people who are reading your book, what do you hope they get out of it?
You know, writing books for young people is first of all, it's great. What I want kids to get out of it is a really good story. That's my job first and foremost, is to tell a really good story. I would love it if they started thinking about the myths and fairy tales that we tell over and over again, and the roles of women in those myths and fairy tales. It seems to me that this is partially based on the story of Persephone, which is a myth, if you know about that one. And Persephone is the daughter of Demeter, goddess of the grain, and she's stolen from a field and taken to the underworld. But the myth is not even about her. And in some ways, I wanted to give Persephone a voice through my character, Rosa. So I want kids, or any reader of any age, to think about why women seem to be missing even from their own stories. And if we could start to value those stories more, that would be what I'd like them to think about. And also the bees.
All the way from California, here at the 92nd Street Y, I have Neal Shusterman. Hey, welcome, Neal.
Thank you very much.
I actually learned what Challenger Deep is, but for those that don't, what is Challenger Deep?
Well, Challenger Deep is the deepest place in the world. The bottom of the Marianas Trench, 6.8 miles down.
And so for those that aren't familiar with the book, just briefly, what's the book about?
Well, the book is about a boy by the name of Caden Bosch, and Caden is in two different worlds. In one world, he is in this very surrealistic voyage on a pirate ship sailing out toward the Marianas Trench, and they're going to explore Challenger Deep. But he's also a kid going to school who's starting to have anxiety issues, and the issues start getting worse and worse, goes beyond anxiety until he really has a break from reality and is diagnosed with schizophrenia. And everything that happens on the ship is basically his delusion as he's breaking further and further away from reality. And the question is he going to be able to come back? Which world is he going to choose?
Yes, and in your author's note, you mentioned that you were inspired to write this book from a family situation. So, and your son was your inspiration.
Yes, my oldest son, Brendan, had issues with this and deals with mental illness, and everything that our family went through, we worked together to put into the book. Everything that's on the pirate ship, all of the fantasy element, is all inspired by artwork that he did when he was in the depths himself. And in the process of writing the story, I worked with him, talked to him, and try to really get what it was like to be in that place where you can't tell the difference between what's real and what's not. Now he's doing fantastic. He's here with me at the awards. He's going to be signing books with me, and it's been a really fantastic experience sharing this with him. A really healing experience working on this book.
For the young people reading this book, what do you hope they get out of the book?
I hope that people reading the book will get an understanding of mental illness. You know, it's a disease that is really misunderstood and stigmatized. And I'm hoping to open up a conversation about it and to take away that stigma from it. And hopefully when people read the book, they'll get a sense of empathy and compassion for people who are going through different forms of mental illness, and really come out at the other end feeling as if they understand it and they know what it's like. Also for readers who are suffering themselves to understand that they are not alone And there are a lot of people. I mean, 1 in 3 families in America are faced with mental illness in one way or another. And we need to talk about it more.
We have Noelle Stevenson, the author and a creator, I should say, of Nimona, and it is a graphic novel.
It is.
For those who aren't familiar, just looking at the cover, one would think that she is a sort of superhero.
She is a sidekick of a supervillain, but yes, she has superpowers, and she has the ability to shapeshift. So,
Okay, wait. Shape shift.
yes,
So what is shape shift for an old person like me?
she has the ability to turn into any animal or any person at basically in seconds. So she can be as small as a mouse or as big as a dragon, or even bigger in moments.
Yeah. So this actually was published online before it actually became a book. How did that happen? I mean, well, you tell me.
Okay, yeah. This was a comic that I was working on while I was still in school. And I did a few pages for classes. I did the first 2 pages for a class. Then I did the next, I think, 4 pages for a class. And then I did 10 more pages. And then at that point, I decided that this book was something that I felt very strongly about and that it was very important to me. And so I decided to do, what kids do these days, and I put it on the internet.
And you are also involved with Lumberjanes. Yeah. Now, I know what Lumberjanes, but for those people in the KidLit TV world who aren't familiar with Lumberjanes, what is a Lumberjane?
Lumberjanes it's like a summer camp for Girl Scouts, but things are not as they seem, and the woods are full of monsters, and there are many mysteries to be solved. And these Lumberjane Girl Scouts, they all of a sudden are called upon to solve mysteries and save the day.
Mm-hmm. Before you leave, a shout out to the school where you were taking the class where you created this one.
Mm-hmm. That's the Maryland Institute College of Art.
I'm sure they're very proud of you.
I hope so.
I'm here with 3-time finalist Steve Sheinkin, and you've brought this book, has brought light onto the Vietnam War. I mean, I'm of an age where I remember the Vietnam War firsthand. Okay. But tell us a little bit about the whole research process.
That's really exciting to me, and I was alive during these events, many of them, but of course I don't remember them and didn't really learn about them in school. So for me, it was a research and a learning process to discover the broader story of the war, but also the central character of Daniel Ellsberg, who's not super well known to people who don't remember the story, but is a perfect character to tell the story, because he really lived it. He lived the war, and the ups and downs. He started out as pro-war, turned against the war, and you get the whole experience through his eyes.
Yeah. So you've been through the teen press conference before. So what do you enjoy about it?
The questions is the best part, getting the questions and hearing. You never know exactly what students will ask, and they've come up with their own insights and ideas, and that's the best part.
Right. And a book about Daniel Ellsberg is very appropriate right now because, we have a similar situation just recently. And so did that happen, the Snowden situation happen while you were writing it or before?
It happened wow. So as I started taking up this story, Snowden was living his life and hadn't done that famous thing that made him a household name. So no, I hadn't heard of that story, but as soon as it happened, the parallels were so obvious, and it brought what I was doing a new relevance and a new immediacy. You really can see exactly that we're still dealing with so many of those same questions.
I'm here with debut author Allie Benjamin. I didn't say what the book was. It is the Thing About Jellyfish, and it's interesting because when you read this book, you learn a lot about jellyfish. So, are you like a jellyfish lover? Or?
I am, in fact, a jellyfish lover. Yes. Yeah, they're fascinating. They are, they're animals, but they don't resemble anything that we associate with animals. They have no bones, no blood, no heart. They're beautiful, and they're alien, and they're haunting, and they're creepy, and I love them.
Yes, but this book is even deeper than jellyfish.
Yes.
Yes, it's about a girl who loses a friend.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and she loses a friend, and she becomes convinced that the true cause of her friend's death, her friend drowned,
and she was a good swimmer, and she becomes convinced it was because of a jellyfish sting, and she decides that she is going to prove that like a scientist no matter what it takes.
You grew up in a house that people thought was haunted?
Yes, it was very old and very rickety, and it was the only old rickety house in the neighborhood, and everyone was convinced it was haunted. But I never found any ghosts. I actually would have liked to.
In upstate New York, or where? It's in New York State?
Yeah, northern Westchester County.
Well, that's really interesting. And you could tell she's a first-time author because her publicist would say, you hold the book this way so that everyone can see it.